Hi everyone, my name's Tejvir and I'm going to be talking about Meru the easy way. This is an account of the first alpine-style ascent of Meru North and the Garhwal Himalayas. It's part of the IMF webinar series, so thanks to the Indian Mountaineering Foundation for hosting this series. A bit about myself. I'm a physiologist at the University of Pennsylvania. I have an interest in muscle, exercise, doping, and hypoxia. And on occasion, I've been able to combine my interests in research and mountaineering and go on research expeditions. I've been climbing all over the globe, really, picked up a few first ascents along the way, largely by being at the right time, right place, and climbing with the right folks. And it was certainly the case with Meru. The right folks were Åke Nilsson and Birger Andrén, fine alpinists from Sweden, and Charu Sharma and Mandip S and myself from India. Meru is more than one peak, seen from the east. This is actually seen from Tapovan. You have the first ascents shown in red. You have Meru South. It was the first of the massive climbed by a Japanese group in 1980. The right skyline was the route taken for Meru North, also climbed at the same time, different group from Japan. And then the most phenomenal climb was obviously Meru Central, done by Valery Babanov solo in 2001, which is just an incredible feat of high altitude alpinism, which goes down along with Hermann Bull and all the great alpinists. Walter Bonatti is a solo first ascent of a difficult route. Subsequently, other routes have been done on Meru. The Slovenians have put up a couple of routes on Meru North. The Japanese, the Czechs, and the Americans have put up routes on Meru Central. And Meru the hard way probably would be the Korean route on Meru South, which goes up at an improbable A5 along the way. Meru's been the subject of a couple of movies, the more recent one made by the Americans. And Åke Nilsson had filmed and documented our climb, which was shown on Doordarshan. And also some of you who've been through NIM Uttarkashi may remember this because it used to be used as part of the training curriculum. So at the time, our objectives in terms of Meru were to climb it alpine style. And we decided on Meru North, partly because Åke and Birger had tried it the year before. So we had firsthand knowledge, at least about till the Kulwa. I just finished med school, so I was interested in hypoxia research, and I roped in two of my colleagues, Ranganath Pathak and Deepak Grover, to come along with me, and we figured we'd do some research on the climb. After Meru, I was keen on climbing something else, and I'd invited a friend of mine, Ajit Bajaj, Baggage, to join me in Gangotri, and we'd go find something to climb, and we did, and I'll talk a bit about that. And then obviously we wanted to return safely, otherwise this talk won't be available. We were very small, but very cohesive and well-knit team. I'd climbed with Birger and Åke in Sweden. I'd actually first met them while climbing in Sweden, in northern Sweden. That's Birger in Säter, Åke in France, and then Mandy and Charu, obviously I knew from India. We were relatively comfortable and confident at the grade at which we climbed. Plus, Mandy and Charu, along with Can, had put up the first big wall in India, Dipavali on Savandurga. So we kind of felt we were pretty confident about it. Of course, Meru is in the Garhwal Himalayas, and you don't need a map to get there because it's mythologically in the center of the universe. You do, however, need transportation to get there. So by tempo, by bus, we worked our way up towards Gangotri via Uttarkashi. We took it nice and easy. We were very cognizant of acclimatization, and we drove through till Tapovan. It's nice journey. It's lush green forest. The roads are not bad, at least till Uttarkashi. We had a few, landslides after Uttarkashi, which you occasionally had to portage your stuff over. And obviously, the top of the bus is the best place to sit. It's easy exit if things go wrong. You also realize why this whole valley is so holy. Every time you look down the Gangotri Gorge, you're just praying to God that you don't go down there. You do eventually, of course, get to Gangotri, which is a wonderful religious town. And you meet many Babas. You get your blessings from them and you move up valley. The hikers, climbers, pilgrims, all sharing a common sort of road towards the same destination, maybe with different purposes. You get great views of the mountains. There's the Bhagirathis, Shivling. You can see both the summits here as you get closer to Gangotri, as you get closer to Tapovan. And then this also gave us time to do our research studies. And we were looking, for example, this is Rangapathak looking for retinal hemorrhages in Jean-Philippe, who was one of the trekkers who came along with us using an ophthalmoscope. And so we were collecting bloods, doing retinal studies, and all in all, it was a great way to get up to Tapovan. So this is an altitude profile showing that we took, each of these blue bars shows one overnight stay. We took about 10 days to get to the start of our climb. And we did this deliberately slowly because we reckoned on the walk-in, if we walked in slow and gave ourselves enough time to acclimatize, we decreased the subjective hazards of getting altitude sickness. Plus, given the fact we are climbing at a partial pressure of about half the amount of oxygen you have at sea level, this would give us our bodies time to adapt to the hypoxia and allow us to do an increased amount of work output. So for the climb, we'd be able to climb somewhat fast, and that would decrease the objective hazards such as a rockfall and avalanche. And for Meru, this is a very important feature. This mountain has a history of lots of accidents and deaths because of rockfall and avalanches. Tapovan's a great place to hang out, take in the views as here we are, and you can see a beautiful view of the Bhagirathis behind, and right above Åke and Charu, you can see the absolutely improbable but fantastic Spanish route on Bhag 3. We also got a glimpse of our mountain, Meru North, and this is the top part of the climb, so above the col, and it looked climbable. It was, snow and ice, and we reckoned it would go. We ignored the runnels and the avalanches and said, right, that looks climbable. If you were to climb up the scree slope and descend into the Meru Barmak, you'd get a composite view of the climb. And the problems, of course, are the bottom 800 meters are a rock wall, and the next 600 meters are ice and snow. Our plan was to put up a bivvy here, which we'd call Swallow's Nest. It was under overhang, so we knew we'd be protected from rubble. Make it up to past the couloir to the col the next day, so bivvy number 2. Climb up and down third day, and then come down the fourth. It was a good plan as plans go, and as good plans go, it went right out of the window. We did manage the first day on plan and nothing else. So the first day the climbing was really easy, as you can see here. The problem is it's also the most dangerous part of the climb. I mean, this is all rockfall and stuff that's been pulverized into dust, and there was constant barrage of rocks, and it was very nerve-wracking, this climb. The bivvy was actually not bad. It was protected. We had a flat place to sleep. The next day, the climbing certainly got better. The rock quality was better, and I'm leading a pitch here. We had hoped to get up to the col, but we didn't quite make it because the couloir itself was iced up, and Åke and Mandy had to go, but they didn't reach up. We had to then rappel down a couple of pitches and bivvy out on a semi-hanging bivvy called General Bivvy. And this was sort of nerve-wracking because we were constantly afraid of dropping something and that would terminate the expedition. This has happened not infrequently on Meru and Thalaysagar. And plus, every time you kind of nodded off and just about went to sleep, you'd wake up with a rude pressure on your privates, and hence the name, the Gentle Bivvy. But all in all, we did manage okay. We didn't drop anything, and we survived the night. Next day, we kind of got nice views of what we had to do, which was the couloir above us. To our side, we got fantastic views of Meru North, the central pillar of Meru North, which still remains, I think, a #1 go-to climb in the area, Meru Central. And of course, Mandy and Åke did manage to climb the couloir, the 20-odd meter crux that had held the Swedes back the year before. They got through it. And then the final pitch was led by Mandy, And, you know, usually how you kind of want to hog up the leads, Shivling. On this case, Mandy, you know, we were very happy to let him climb. And he did a fantastic job of climbing and route finding. And in his Koflax managed to kind of get through these overhanging roofs without really using any aid. He free climbed the whole thing. And we were very happy for him as he got up to his stance and got the first bit of snow and ice on the route. He set up a nice anchor, and so Charu and I basically jugged up rather than climbed up, and then hauled our sacks up to his belay. We did get, psychologically, this was really important, getting over the rock wall, because now we were on top of where Åke and Birger had stopped a year earlier. We could look down and see what we'd come from, and plus we could dump all our rock gear. Additionally, as we looked off towards on our left, we could actually see the summit for the first time. And we kind of ignored these cornices and crevasses and just said, right, it's doable. And, you know, in every climb, there's this inflection point when you kind of know it's going to go. And for us, it was certainly this one. Anyway, we went a couple of 100 meters above this spot, maybe 20 meters vertical to a flatter spot to make the platform bivvy, which we dug out. And this was a very comfortable bivvy. It was completely flat. And here I'm handing some snow to Mandy to melt. We drank lots of apelosoppa and blåbärssoppa that Åke had brought from Sweden. And we could get a nice view of the mountains, Thalaysagar and Bergoband from here. And you know, slept a really nice night in 5-star comfort because it was flat. In fact, it was so good that the next day we didn't actually wake up. We couldn't make a pre-dawn start as we'd have liked to on the summit day. With the result, the snow was a bit softer than we'd have liked, and we made very slow progress upwards. And by evening, it was clear we weren't going to make it up, which was really, again, you know, it was from going from hero to zero in no time. And we you know, we were talking about, should we bag it? Do we get down? What do we do here? And we decided we'd stick it out. We didn't have sleeping bags, but we did have a bivvy bag. And we kind of found this vertical, this serac, hammered in a few, made an incipient ice cave and stuck ourselves in, huddled together for warmth. And of course, this one was dubbed the Sotan Bivvy, as Åke was muttering under his breath. And it was indeed a satanic night, you know, probably minus 15, minus 20 Celsius at that altitude. The next day was absolutely brilliant. The snow and ice conditions were as good as you could ask for. We, you know, climbed up, and I was very fortunate to get to lead this pitch, which just ended short of the crest, where Åke took over. And as I said, it was just great snow and ice climbing conditions. Got in there, made an anchor, really bomber anchor, buried in that dead man, and Åke took over and got up to the crest. And it was just very, very satisfying to see him up there. He made a belay, or I should say he just straddled the peak and called it a belay. It's a kind of small place. And belayed us up. And I was the last person to get up. But you know, soon all of us were up there and enjoying ourselves and enjoying the view, taking in the views. And got a nice shot of the mountains around us. That's Åke and Charu on top of the summit. And then a realization that we've got to get down, which we did. We took 2 days. We didn't want to be a statistic, and we were very careful about backing up our anchors and taking it easy and breathing as we came down, so we wouldn't have an accident. We did get back to terra firma, and you know, the two snow unmolding limpets we'd left, little snows had melted. What horrified us a bit was the amount of rockfall that had come just within this week that we hadn't been there. And that also gave us a bit of time to reflect about the climb. You know, we were pretty happy that we'd accomplished our main goal, which was the first alpine-style ascent of Meru North. I think this climb really underscored the need for speed. I mean, you know, this is not a climb where you want to dawdle around on the face. And I think that this Meru has had a number of accidents and deaths. And I think you're better off acclimatizing and climbing fast, kind of the way Messner and Habler have suggested, than try this traditional tactics. This area certainly has multiple peaks that you can climb to optimize your acclimatization, your fitness, your fun. For example, Kedar Dome. I said we kind of did this in reverse. I'd invited baggage up, and we met up in Gangotri after the climb and went up and climbed Kedar Dome. But we did this in 3 days, and it's nice climb. It's very straightforward. You had great views of Thalaysagar and Brigupant, and as an extra bonus, it was also Baggage's birthday the day we topped out. Finally, I'd like to say that I think this area, the Gangotri Valley, has just incredible alpine-style potential. I mean, there's Meru North direct, the directissimas. You keep hearing climbers lament that, well, there's nothing left to be done. I mean, all this is left to be done. The enchainment, the grand traverses, tons of other peaks. It's a playground for the alpinist, really. Finally, I'd be remiss not to mention that one couldn't have done this alone. We had a number of sponsors who helped us economically, but more than that, debt to my climbing mates, Åke, Birger, Charu, and Mandy, for being just a great team, and to the IMF for hosting this. Thanks.